Hello there everyone, and welcome to another edition of The Moaning Show. I'm your host as always, HED Rules 0001. And as you can see, I'm not alone in this edition, as I do have the help of my dear father. And in this edition, episode 37, we are going to talk to you about the London 2012 Olympic Games and what really gets on our nerves. I will hand over straight away to my faithful assistant, so to speak, to talk about his gripes, or his major gripe, for this year's games. So, what is it?
Well, before we start, let me say hello. It's good to be back. I know it's a long time since I've been on. And secondly, let me say, this weather is horrible.
Yes.
Get rid of it. It's horrible. Bring back the rain. Right, my gripe. I've not got no real gripe about the Olympics themselves. My gripe, before it's even started, is the BBC coverage. I don't know who the BBC think everybody is, or what equipment everybody's got. But we know, if it's anything like the last Olympics, that they're going to show one sport on BBC One, and then there will be 6 other sports being shown on 6 red buttons. Now, I'd say at least 80 to 90% of the country have got Freeview. And Freeview has only got one red button when the Olympics are on. If you want to watch anything else, the BBC said for the first time you can watch every single hour of every single event as long as you watch it online. Now, to watch it online, it means having to come into this smelly bedroom. We could move the computer into the living room, but that's going to be too much bother. The BBC have not got a clue about the normal person wanting to watch the Olympics. And when it's on, they will concentrate. The first week will be concentrating on swimming. And whenever there's anything that a Brit is involved who might do well, i.e. cycling or rowing, they will cut to that. In the second week, when the main athletics start, which is the main reason why I watch the Olympics, you know for a fact they're going to have 5 experts in the studio. They'll go to the programme at 9 o'clock in the morning, and for the first 45 minutes to an hour, they'll be bloody talking about it, and they won't show any sodding action. Drives me mad. And it will say on the red button, see some tennis, or rowing, or cycling, or gymnastics, God forbid.
Oh.
There's a few sports I want to watch, and I know that the BBC coverage is going to be really bad. One of them is going to be handball. I want to see some handball. I used to play it when I was a kid. And I know that I might get an hour on the red button somewhere. BBC said you could, or on the computer. So before it's even started, the BBC coverage is driving me up the wall. I know it's going to... Sue Barker's going to be there, and the only reason she should be there is to talk about tennis, but she's going to be the main presenter, obviously, in the Olympic Stadium. She'll be fawning, as usual, over Michael Johnson. If you listen to her when she talks to people, while that other person's talking, you'll hear her going, in the background. I think it's her way of saying yes. You can hear her in the background. She does. She sounds like a whiny dog when someone else is talking. A bit like me, really, sometimes when I'm whining. But that's basically all I want to say. I really do hope they go well. I think they will. There's too many people moaning about how bad I mean, obviously they've cost far too much and the security's way out of order. I mean, I was in a shop this morning and a woman bought... She's going to see the Olympics tomorrow, which is Wednesday. It's before it's even open. She's obviously got tickets to one of the football matches. And she's bought supplies to take with her, and she's just got the tickets through. And half of the supplies she's bought, she can't take because it's not Coca-Cola. She bought Pepsi. It's not certain other things because it's not a brand name, so she's not allowed to take it in there, which is just, it's totally stupid. You know, it's just mess. But as I say, the BBC is the one thing that's going to get on my nerves, and I should just be glad when it's over, really, because not only will the BBC coverage, all right, they'll have every event, every hour of every event, but on the computer, which means I won't be able to bloody see most of it. The worst thing is they've spent so much money. You can bet your life there'll be over 100. Well, there's got to be 500 people there from the BBC: cameramen, sound men, lighting men, producers, editors, then you've got to put all the presenters on top of that, and every sport will have an expert with it as well. So it's going to be at least 2 when we get to the athletics. Obviously there'll be bloody Denise Lewis and bloody gay Colin Jackson, Michael Johnson. There'll be them 3. They'll ask the same questions of each of them. They'll show a race, say a 100-metre heat, and then they'll show 4 highlights of it, 4 replays of it from 4 different angles. Then they'll show it in slow motion. Then they'll talk about it for 10 minutes until you can see the next one. It's going to drive me mad, I know it is, and I'm going to be swearing at the TV a lot over the next 2 weeks. I love the BBC, but they do fuck up when it comes to TV, when it comes to sport coverage. And the amount of money that they must have spent on these Olympics means that every other sport has had to pay for it. We've lost most golf coverage. We got the Open the other day, 4 days, but even the Scottish Open, which the BBC have always had, they only had 2 days of it this year and 2 days of highlights. Same for the Masters, they've always had 4 days. This year they had 2 days of highlights. We've lost countless other golfing tournaments at the BBC. They've lost all their racing after this year. There's got to be no more racing. The football coverage has been completely destroyed. All we get is Match of the Day and England friendlies, maybe, if we're lucky.
They're on ITV.
And most of them, as Matt says, are on ITV. We've lost everything. We'll get tennis for Wimbledon, which just, I could murder. I mean, I really should emigrate for them 2 weeks when Wimbledon's on. It just drives me mad. And then we get highlights or even live coverage of the French Open, the American Open, the Australian Open. I think my theory is that Sue Barker is having it off with the managing director of the BBC, because it's the only way that they can have so much bloody coverage, and the fact that she's on TV so many times
doesn't help with the sports controller of BBC actually being a woman. Yeah,
the sports controller of BBC is a woman, so she's got no bloody idea. The sports that need to be on are the sports that we've had on in the past. I mean, you're going to lose all your top commentators as well. I mean, half the commentators for football have defected to ITV or Sky. Racing obviously is going to be no more, yet they're going to try and hold on to the certain, say Claire Balding, they're going to try and hold on to for, say, things like 3-day eventing, badminton, Burley, whatever.
Rugby league.
Well, she does rugby league, but she may go. It's just madness. They've spent so much money on the Olympics that they've got no money for anything else. And they're supposed to, it's going to be the same for the next 4 or 5 years, because the licence fee's not going up until whenever it is, 2016, 2017. That's been frozen. And that's the excuse they're going to give. And I think the Olympics has come at totally the wrong time for the BBC, because they've got to make cuts everywhere, but they're not going to make cuts for the Olympics. And you wait, next week it's going to be all swimming in the first week. Hopefully we'll get some athletics in the second week, but it's just too much talking before the event, after the event, even during the event on some things. And half the events we won't see anyway. I mean, they'll concentrate on, say, something that's got a really good British chance of a medal in that event, and we'll miss, say, the men's javelin or the women's javelin, or the men's javelin, because we've got nobody in the men's javelin, so we won't see any of that. They'll show who won the gold or who won the silver or who won the bronze, and that's it. It's the same every time with the BBC. They only show the people they like. It just drives me mad. It's like the golf last week. I mean, there was games all the time, right from 9 o'clock in the morning, before 9 o'clock in the morning, right through till 8 o'clock in the evening, and we only saw 10, maybe 20 players all the way through the tournament. I mean, each day they didn't start for an hour. You had to go and watch it on the red button if you wanted to see it. And the Olympics is going to be exactly the same. It's just going to be too much yakking over and over and over again. They need to go back to the way it was. You get a commentator, you get a presenter, one presenter, no experts, one presenter, and then 1 or 2 or 3 commentators, and that's it. You don't need pundits, you don't need experts. They take up far too much of the time. I mean, we're not paying to watch people like Michael Johnson and gay Colin Jackson, sick note Denise Lewis, talk to the camera. We're paying our licence fee to watch athletics, and we're paying to watch the other sports, not to listen to bloody experts yakking on and on and on. That's it. That's all I've got to say. Thank you very much. See you in a few months, but maybe talk about something else. Thank you very much.
And I thank him for his comments there about this particular coverage of the 2012 London Olympics. Going slightly off topic, obviously, with the sports and talking about the golf, but it's all relative terms. It's all, you know, all together. So now you're getting my gripes about the London Olympics. First off, I'll touch on what's really pissed me off about it to begin with. He touched on it slightly by saying that the BBC have spent far too much money on it. They definitely have. You know, one thing he forgot to mention was we've lost half the Formula 1 coverage, and I have a other channel dedicated to Formula 1, and we've lost half the coverage. Alright, we still get highlights, but highlights, to me, the word highlights sounds to me very much like we can't be bothered, or, you know, it's just really pathetic. But the whole fucking process of the games, changing the subject now, back to the games, is the fact that in general the whole fucking thing has cost too much money. It's like when a certain manufacturing company or a certain building company was approached to build the Olympic Stadium, and they didn't go for the cheapest option, they didn't go for the next cheapest option, they didn't even go for the middle option, they probably went for the second most expensive option for the company building the fucking stadium. And it really gets on my fucking nerves when, you know, estimates are put in for these companies, because you've got these estimates and 9 times out of 10 they'll choose the expensive or the second most expensive one, and that means the cost goes up. The absolute ridiculous stories going through about the security for the games. They've spent X amount on the security, and in the news of the past like 10 days or so it said security is not ready for the games. It's like, no fucking shit. Fucking security for this thing should have been ready, all people trained up, all people sorted with ID papers, checks and everything. That should have been sorted 6 months ago, as the stadium should have been ready 6 months ago. Everything should have been ready at least at the start of this year. And, you know, we're a couple of days away from the games, hence I wanted to get this particular version of the Moaning Show out before the games. But the mere fact, we'll go back to the beginning. The ticket sales. The website crashed because everyone wanted tickets. And, you know, contrary to what my dad's just said, it is fucking annoying that, you know, alright, not everyone can get to London, not everyone can get to see the event, but the best way to watch a sport, yes, alright, being live is absolutely bloody-nificent. The best way to watch a sport is on the TV. And the majority of us only have Freeview, which means we don't get the extra options. Yes, the internet's available, but it's not as good as what it could be. But that's what I'm trying to get at. It is going to have more coverage of this particular Olympics than it will ever have, you know, of anything up till now. It will be broadcast radio. They say we have live bridge of something, and it turns out to be on the radio. It's no fucking good. All it takes to run up and it's jumped over. It's nothing. But as I say, coming back to my particular gripes, they fucked up on the tickets. People applied. You had to apply for tickets for this fucking thing. and you didn't know what you were applying for. If you were lucky, you got the sport you want. If you were really lucky, you got the big events. I'm talking about the 100 metres, 100 metres finals, maybe the relays in the athletics, possibly the rowing, although I personally don't see the fucking appeal of rowing. It's just being like that, and the boat's going in a straight fucking line. Where's the appeal in that? It's boring. The track cycling, the road cycling, the time trial cycling, you know, and those people who applied for tickets, you didn't know what you were going to get. So like you get an email or something saying you have been successful in your application for tickets, and you wanted to see, oh yeah, we've got some 100 metres action, or 200 metres, or 400 metres, or the shooting, or the sailing, or whatever, and you get the tickets through and they're for fucking gymnastics or fucking weightlifting. It's like, what? You've got Olympic tickets? Nice. It's for fucking pieces of crap though. Olympic ticket. The whole process was botched. They should have had double the servers to cope with the supply and demand. You should be able to apply for what particular event you wanted. I think you were, you know, preferences like click, click, click. For instance, Marty and Cousin are going to see the diving, and I think they did apply for the diving. I hope if they're watching they can correct me or put a little comment in the comment box to say exactly what they did get. But they're going, and you know, that's fine. If they wanted to see the diving, they're seeing the diving, fine. But if you wanted to see either the football, the I don't know, the badminton, the tennis, or whatever, and you got something you didn't want, yes, you're going to the Olympic Games. Yes, it'll probably be a once in a lifetime opportunity. But you're going to see something you don't want to see, and that's just the start of it. The whole process of, oh yes, to be Olympic champion is one of my biggest dreams of all time. Yes, it may well be. Too much has been made of this fucking Olympics since the day, or a couple of days after we got it, because we had that horrific terrorist action the day after it was announced that we got the bloody thing. But, you know, from about 6 months after we got the event, it was like counting down to London 2012. It's like, fuck off! It's not for another 3.5 years. Piss the fuck off! It's like, then you see these programmes every Sunday lunchtime, or just, you know, 2 o'clock every Sunday, like Olympic Dreams. It's like, fuck off! Put some proper programmes on. Best sake. And then you see these, you know, you got to focus on the particular. Then they focus on the big medal hopes, the Rebecca Adlingtons, the Phillips Adorus, the Di Greens, the Tom Daly's. They focus too much on those guys and not on the people that really make the Olympics. The Olympic motto is, you know, taking part is more important than winning. And I've got a fair idea that that motto was written by someone British, because they're not exactly, it's not exactly a awe-inspiring motto, you know. The motto should be something like excel and aim higher, or something like that. But it's all about the non-medalists or the non-semi-finalists. It's all about these people from a dark country in fucking Western Africa that we'd never fucking heard of before, turning up and doing their best, you know. And if they perform brilliantly, in other words, get a personal best or a season's best or whatever, in whatever, you get awe-inspired by just watching them guys. And then you get the procession in the opening ceremony. Yes, you get all the stupid dancing and fucking over the top pyrotechnics, fireworks, fucking you know, building blocks and everything like that, and you see these fucking irritating things that millions and millions of pounds have been spent on training these dancers and making this structure that's going to be lighting the Olympic flame. All you got to do is go up to it and go whoosh like that, boom. But these things are becoming more elaborate every year. One time we had an archer fire towards where the torch would be. Another time we had someone descend from above and launch it there. Just fucking light it. Boom. Done. 3 seconds. No money spent. Fucking God. And then you get the tiresome bit where they introduce every single fucking country that's taking part in the games, whether they've got 1, 2, 1,000, 3,000 athletes, or I'm pretty sure that's a bit over the top, but then they have to walk around the fucking stadium during the opening ceremony and then stand in the middle for an hour and a half. I'd be like, yeah, I paid to see an opening ceremony, not fucking a parade of people with flags. And then you get all the different colours, you get all the different flags, and all the different attires. So for instance, if the women from Saudi Arabia would be dressed like that, like fucking ninjas. Now, if they were actually ninjas, it would make the fucking thing exciting. They start kicking some ass. You know? That's who they should have employed to be fucking security. Fucking ninjas and fucking students and everything, you know, with karate degrees and things like that. That would have been fantastic. And then you get this, the selections for the Olympics. Specifically the, I was reading about a month or so ago that the #1 guy for Great Britain in the last 2 or 3 years, maybe even the last 5 or 6 years, the #1 guy for Taekwondo in this country wasn't picked for the last Olympics. They picked someone who was like ranked 58th in the world. It's happened again. This guy is the best ever Taekwondo fighter in this country, and he has been for a good, you know, 8 to 10 years or so. He's not been picked, and he's thinking, well, what the fuck have I got to do to get picked? It's all to do with the so-called stars getting the top places. And, you know, for the Olympic trials, which happen every year, no matter what country you belong to, you get an Olympic trial, and if you don't make the time, you don't get picked. But wait, what if you're a big gold medal hope? What if you're a big name in the sport? For instance, Paula Radcliffe. She's done fuck all in terms of the Olympics, but yet she's won the London Marathon a couple of times. She became European champion. She became Commonwealth champion. She's in the team. Did she get an Olympic qualifying time? Fuck, did she? Load of bollocks. And then you get the so-called medal expectations. You know, we got a target of, for example, say 100 medals, and at least 20 of them have to be gold. Wow, nice expectations. We're the host nation this time around. We should be aiming to finish top of the fucking medal table with 80 plus golds. It's our fucking home games. We won't get it again for all of the moaning that people have done. Not just me. You're watching it now, yeah, but other people have moaned. They don't fucking want it. You know, they're getting fucking... The whole landscape of London's changed. Getting missiles and fucking rockets put on top of flats to shoot down any fucking terrorists and stuff. And then we come to one of the worst things. The actual medal ceremonies for the winning athletes in any particular sport. And The one anthem you will hear more than probably any other during this Olympics is da, 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 da. How many fucking times do we hear that pissing anthem? Every fucking 4 years, well, every 2 years. I mean, you got the Winter Olympics, yeah, alright, they don't win as much, but the Summer Games that are starting in a couple of days, yeah, fucking anthem all the way through. But unfortunately, that's not the most irritating anthem in the world. The most irritating national anthem in the world is for a start, it's boring as fuck. If you don't know, it's ours, by the way. Secondly, every other anthem in the world sings about a land or where they come from. We sing about a fucking 83-year-old woman or an 80-plus-year-old woman or a man if it's a king. Our anthem should be Land of Hope and Glory. Awe-inspiring, gets you there, and you're singing about a land where you come from. There's these people saying it should be Jerusalem. Da, 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 da. That. Fuck off. Jerusalem is in the Middle East. Fuck the Middle East. We live in fucking Britain. England, to be fucking precise. London 2012. It's not fucking Tel Aviv 2012 or Jerusalem 2012. The anthem should be fucking changed. The medal ceremonies need to be shorter. And after the race and during the medal ceremonies, the men get given flowers. What the fuck is that all about? They get given flowers. It's like, yeah, I've just won 100 metres gold, and what the fuck is this? I want a glass of water or a fucking energy bar or something. I've just been 100 metres in 9.67 seconds or whatever, and you get fuck all. Yes, a nice bunch of flowers. Fuck off. Give me a glucose drink off a fucking camera opportunity. You know? Piss off with your flowers. Give them to the women. And if it sounds like I'm sexist, I don't give a shit. But that's what I'm trying to get at. It's not just the organisation, the actual presentation of the TV coverage or what happens during the games itself. It's everything. It's all gone, you know? And the whole country's going, oh, thank God for that. You know? Once it's over, it's over. We've employed a film director to do the opening ceremony. How much did he fucking cost? I could have had the same ideas for probably a millionth the price. That's probably going a bit far-fetched, but you see what I mean? It's all fucked. And that's before it started. They're worried about terrorist attacks, yeah. They built missile silos on fucking flats and stuff. I've mentioned that before. But that's what I'm trying to get at. It's all a load of bollocks. And that's basically my gripes out the way. I hope you've enjoyed listening to Dad's gripes or gripe about the games. That's about it for this edition of the Moaning Show. I thank you very much for watching. Post your comments or replies in the comment box, and any suggestions for future episodes. Like I say, I thank you for watching. That's about it for this edition, and I'll see you next time for more bloody moaning.